Race 64 is in the Prince Albert Challenge Cup for student Coxed fours. We have Colgate University from the USA on the Bucks side and Durham University B on the Berkshire side. Already remarked on the fact that Durham have two crews in this competition in their famous Palatinate colour worn by the Prince Bishop of Durham's armies. They're sort of purple, and they've steered themselves out fairly wide to start with, close to the boom. And Colgate University from Hamilton Village, Madison County, New York, the Colgate Raiders are right up alongside them.
Yeah, and it's interesting, the Colgate crew, they're not regular visitors to Henley, so they must feel they've got some strength. You can see that Durham, coming out of their start, are slipping away at the moment. So it'd be interesting to see. There's a lot of power. You can see some raw power in the Colgate crew. Can they really connect it? Can they row a little bit longer? To me, they're shorter than the Durham crew at the moment. Can they actually hang on, get a bit more length and rhythm to get them down the track and get back on terms with Durham?
Colgate beat fellow Americans, the University of Virginia, yesterday by a length in a time of 7 minutes and 9 seconds. Durham University B had a notable victory over the University of London yesterday by 2 lengths in a time of 7 minutes 13. Of course, they're seeded to avoid their A boat until and unless they do meet in what they would consider to be a dream final. We'll go and have that up on the River Wear, except it wouldn't quite be the same. But Durham B have made the superior start here and are steering towards the middle.
It looks like they have it in control to me. They have just that bit of, the greater length, the smoothness, some really solid technique happening that's giving them that good rhythm. So they've got more power per stroke, and that there is power in that US crew, but it's not all going into the boat. It's not all going into the boat moving at the moment. So they need to lengthen out if they want to try and get back on terms with Durham. Be interesting to see if the Colgate Cox is calling for some more length to try and see if they can use the power that it looks like they have and get it moving the boat a little bit faster.
Some pleasing self-deprecating humour in the Durham B crew here. The bow, whose back we can see there, Chris Rimmer, says of himself, "I took up rowing at Durham in December 2015, so don't be too harsh on my catch at bow." What are you thinking of his catch at bow?
Well, that's quite a temptation now, isn't it? To look a little closer.
Have a go, Kath.
But, well, the beautiful thing about rowing stroke is it can always be improved.
Studying history is Chris Rimmer, the 21-year-old.
Does look as if he's a tad late on the stroke man at times as well, I have to say. But anyway, let's move on. You can see that from the Colgate crew, there's they have got some international experience at number 2, but again, the sort of cohesion across the blades is lacking a bit. I think they're putting in some pushes. It's the middle of the race. They're putting in some pushes now, that Colgate crew. They're trying to get some contact back. So it could be a point now where we see where the relative fitness of the crew starts to play out.
Colgate University haven't allowed Durham to get away here beyond halfway, and there is sufficient proximity for this to bubble up into quite a race if Colgate have enough left.
Yeah, they can sense it. So that bowman, the Colgate crew, looked across them and hang on, we're gaining on them. I can feel them, and when you can feel that, it gives you such a momentum. And for Durham, having been in a comfortable position, suddenly they've got to lift it. Suddenly they've got to change something. They've got to find more power. The moment the momentum is with the Colgate crew.
And if you are with us in Madison County right now, then no doubt you are getting more and more excitable about this race, because Colgate University and the yellow boat here are really putting on a spurt, and from a deficit which possibly touched as much as a length not so very long ago, they now, I think, though the angle can be deceptive, just might have a marginal advantage.
And that's where the length of this event is an endurance event. This takes 7-8 minutes, and so that really plays into your endurance training. And it looked at the start like the Colgate crew were powerful but weren't getting the boat movement for it, and now we're seeing them they've still got more power in the tank and they're using it, and they will have felt such a buzz from coming up alongside the Durham crew. The question is now, can they actually start moving through them? Can they start getting away? And what have Durham got? What can they find? How hard has their winter training program been, and what has it given them in the tank at this point?
What is left? Did Durham empty their tank early? Colgate certainly put their collective foot down through the middle stage of the race, And now, as you see, the Durham Cox there, Ben Rich, is having truly to engage those behind him and to ask them for extra.
He is. You can see the Cox absolutely going for it in the Durham crew. He's calling for more, and they're coming up to the stewards now. They'll know they're into that last quarter of the race and know that they've got to start lifting and finding more rate. The stroke man, the Durham crew, he's taking up the rate. You see his hands moving away from his body faster as they try to lift it.
This is where the Cox really does earn his corn, and Ben Rich is hollering at them now, demanding of Chris Rimmer just behind him there, and Joe Johansson, Patrick Kinch and James Virgil. Massive effort. A race that in its early stages seemed to be theirs, but which might have been snatched away here by a Colgate University crew that found a way, found new energy, perhaps had a race plan which they've executed immaculately.
The Durham Cox is so determined to get further than last year. They were in the Temple, they raced the first day and they went out, and he wants to be in there longer, and at the moment he's winning the battle of spurring on his crew to more. It's interesting in these front-loaded crews that the Cox is sort of having to kind of look backwards and sideways to see where they are, but Durham have found they did have extra push at the end after a great comeback in the middle of the race from Colgate.
How Durham have been made to work for this. What a really excellent race that was. How much Colgate University have contributed to it. And they're not going to give it up until the very last stroke. Indeed, they are forcing everything through every stroke right until the very end. But Durham University B have bought themselves sufficient slack that it is they who get to the line first, and Durham University B eliminate Colgate University after the most engaging contest.